This week on Bowie TV Sports Spotlight. First, remember, like, share, subscribe, all things Bowie TV. Pitt Sports Zone sits down with NFL Network Steve Wyche to talk HBCU athletics. Then, the Spotlight DMV brings it back home to Prince George's County with a one-on-one with the owner of Excel Golf. We head to Baltimore, where Ravens head coach John Harbaugh and others break down minicamp and training camp preparation. Then it's down to Ashburn with the Washington Commanders as assistant coaches share progress made so far this year. And last but not least, Legacy Makers Sports Network gives us a full AFC versus NFC season preview. Step into the action right now, right here on Bowie TV Sports Spotlight. What's going on, everybody? Y'all know what it is. It's your boy Pitts and Push Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live yet again. You already know what it is. It's HBCU everything. But today we have a special guest. We have Steve Wyche, NFL Network analyst. Steve, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, since you're talking HBCUs, you can't forget I'm a Howard University graduate. You got that Bowie State, Morgan State. Come on down the highway a little bit to D.C.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there in your intro. Before we go any further, I'd like to give a shout out to my sponsors, Staples and Smart Water. Thank you for all that you do for Pitt Sports Zone, Pitts and Push Sports Talk Radio. For your print needs, shop Staples. For your water, you know what? Drink smart. It's the only way to go. Steve, before I do this, no, you know what? I'm going to do the introduction first. Let me give a little bit about yourself that I know. And then if you can't, give a little bit more to our viewers and listeners that they may not know. And then we'll jump right into it. But again, Steve is no stranger to football. Steve is a previous player himself. Steve played everything, basically offensive, quarterback, running back, outside linebacker through high school. He then went on to play at the University of Missouri, where he layered, as he just shouted out, them HU Bisons. He just gave props. He's a HBCU alum, so over 30 years of reporting. Steve, thank you very much for joining us.
No, I appreciate you, Terrence, and you, Sydney, having me on. It's great. When I transferred to Howard from Missouri, I didn't play football anymore. And it's funny because Howard still has its transfer rules pretty much in place as they did back in the 80s, where I would have had to sit out a year after being redshirted and not playing for a year at Missouri. So as they say in football vernacular, I lost my stinger. So I put all my efforts into getting that journalism degree at HU, and I am not upset that I decided to make that turn.
Look at where you are now. It's
right.
all working to work out for you.
And when you talk about HBCUs, because of course that is the highlight of our conversation today. But before we jump into HBCU athletics, I did want to jump into a couple things and give you some flowers along the way, right? Because along the trajectory, I said over 30 years reporting, you have been the one to break some of the most monumental storylines in sports history, whether it was Michael Jordan becoming a part owner with the Wizards, or if it was the Michael Vick dog ring situation, and, more importantly, the Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the national anthem. If you can, when you look back in hindsight and you just look at it, and those are just pieces to the puzzle of the career that you created. Can you just give us insight on those monumental moments and, when you've come across it, did you know this story is going to break?
Yeah, I think they were all different. Those three stories you mentioned, with MJ, I covered the NBA for 7 years, a couple years down in Miami when I was at the Miami Herald, and then at the Washington Post. And with MJ, it was more working relationships with people in the NBA, but more so being in DC, right? DC is this political grapevine, right? This legal grapevine where you got lawyers talking, politicians talking, and they all intertwine with athletics in some way, shape, or form. So I'm just getting these phone calls, this and that, like, hey, MJ's coming to work for the Wizards in some capacity. What? No way. Why would he come here? He's got no tie to DC. Yeah, but, David Stern, who was the NBA commissioner at the time, was trying to get MJ in the ownership, and Abe Pollin. So all of this stuff started to come together. And DC is such a competitive media market. I was like, okay, I got to get this out here, but I got to make sure it's right. Because if I get Michael Jordan's story wrong, I'm going to look really bad. And this was at the advent of the internet. This is right when print media was going on to the internet in like 01, 02. And so, I got everything for us to go to print. I remember when it went to print, I'm actually covering a game in Indianapolis, Indiana. It was a Wizards-Pacers game. And I hear some of my competition on the phone with their editors like, hey, Washington Post is reporting that Michael Jordan's coming to work for the Wizards. And they were like, oh, no, that's just a rumor. And they're like, no, it's splashed all over the front page on their internet website. And so, the guys are kind of looking at me, from the competition like, is this true? I was like, yeah. I know it's going to be a rough couple of days for you, but I got it out. In terms of the Michael Vick thing, I was covering the Falcons, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. As you hear, I was a print journalist for more than 2 decades before I got into TV. And that was just a slow steamroll. It's probably the most aggressive and intense reporting I had to do because I'm in Atlanta. This whole thing was happening up in Virginia, but it happened to be from the part of Virginia where my paternal family was from. So I was familiar with the layout, of the ground. My father's from Hampton, Mike's from Newport News. So I was able to kind of finesse some relationships through familial ways. And then the Howard U card, the local prosecutor in Surrey County, Virginia, went to Howard Law School, so I had to play that card. So a lot of things really worked, but it was probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to do because I had a great relationship with Michael Vick. Yeah. People in the media that he trusted. Yeah. Here I am having to report on some just absolutely awful stuff about him, and it took 6-7 months in the process of doing that. It just tore the city of Atlanta apart. It was really bad. But he's great now. I'm so happy for the turn he's made in his life. I love Mike. We've got a great relationship. I'm pulling for him to succeed down in Norfolk. It'd be great. And then, the Kaepernick one was just me being in the right place at the right time. And having the life experience and the journalistic experience to pull it off the right way. Because remember, that happened in 2016, right? That's when Barack was leaving office and Hillary and Trump were their party's nominees. And all summer long, we had all these recorded shootings of unarmed black men. So you had all of this as kind of the backdrop of the societal environment as to where when this happened, when I saw this and I spoke to Cap about this, I was able to contextualize the story, what I felt was the most important way. And it wasn't what he did, but why he did it. Yeah. And 98% of the reaction was what he did. Yes. Overlooking why he did it. Absolutely. Which is why I think it's still such an ominous story, in today's history.
Absolutely. Sydney, did you, because I'll add to something you said, Steve, give Sydney a chance to come in if she has anything that she want to add or take away from that.
I mean, the last thing you just said was just really stuck out to me as a, aspiring journalist in the field, why he did it. 98% was what he did, and the rest was not why he did it. And so I just want a little bit of advice as to where, like, when you are reporting on these things and when you're speaking to these athletes that are making monumental moves in advocacy, do you really dig deep into their reasoning why? And then how do you approach that?
Great question. Look, with Terrence, you started this out, you like tell people something they don't know about you. I'm a big true crime addict, right? I listen to true crime podcasts. I'm nuts about it. And one thing when you watch these legal shows and whatnot, what are they always talking about? Motive, right? Yeah. What was the motive for them committing a crime or not committing a crime or whatever? So a lot of times the motive is the important hook, or that is the important thing more so than the action or reaction.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Spotlight DMV, where we highlight the people, power, and purpose behind what's really moving in Prince George's County and across the DMV. It is your girl, Rose. Today, we're talking about changing the game literally. My guest is Jairus Bolding, the president of Excel Golf, a nonprofit working to make golf more inclusive, more accessible, and more empowering for young people right here in the community. Whether you've played 18 holes or never picked up a club in your life, this conversation is about equity, leadership, and creating a space. Jairus, welcome to the Spotlight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. And you have quite a journey for Excel Golf and where you are now. And so let's just get into it.
Okay, perfect.
And so we met at a networking event, Coffee Connections. That was in March.
Yes.
Yeah. So at that time, you had an opportunity to speak and introduce your business. And a part of your story was that you walked away from your job, and we will definitely get into that.
Okay.
Because I feel like right now, you know, a lot of people are in a position where they need to pivot. And so that is a huge part of this story. But I want to talk about your growing up and what it was like. Are you from this area?
I am. I'm a Preseason County boy through and through. I grew up in like Peppermill Village area, so like Sea Pleasant until I was up to the age of 8. And then my parents moved me and my 2 brothers to Bowie. Well, and we're in Bowie right now.
Yeah.
So I've been in Bowie now for about 32 years, and I love everything about the city. I love everything about Prince George's County. And it's just really hard to leave this magical space where as African Americans, as minorities, we just have so much influence here.
Yeah.
And it's not like this anywhere else in the country that I've been to. So it's really hard to leave, but I'm still here. I'm still going to try to make a difference wherever I'm at.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about that just before we started recording here about being in Prince George's County, and it's hard to leave. And I feel so privileged to have grown up in this area where you do get to see Black people in leadership, that are your council persons, that are political figures, that are making change right in your community. You know, you go to the courthouse and you see somebody, and then you go to the grocery store, and that same person that was in leadership at the courthouse is at the grocery store too. So I just love that about this county. And what I want to know, you know, golf. Because that's not typically a sport that you see a lot of African Americans in. I did a little research and saw that right now in competitive and leisure golf, it's about 3% African Americans. And so how did you, a boy from Seat Pleasant, from Bowie, from Prince George's County, how were you exposed to golf?
That's a great question. So I was exposed to golf through my dad. He kind of gave me the initial introduction. So once my dad got a little older, he played multiple sports growing up, football, baseball, actually at Bowie State University. And once, you know, when you get a little older, you can't play the sports that you love, so he gravitated to the game of golf. And I'm a left-handed golfer, so is my dad. So he would always have extra clubs laying around, and he would say, "Hey, come on, son, let's go play." And we would go hit balls at different ranges. We used to go and play a lot at Glendale Golf Course, which recently closed about a couple years ago. And that was kind of like my introduction when I was maybe like 16 or 17. And I really didn't take it serious, you know, like I could hit the ball every now and then, but it wasn't the sport that we gravitated towards. But once Tyler started playing, that's when my dad really started to push us to at least watch it and go play. But it wasn't until COVID is when I really started to play the game a little bit more. Didn't have anything else to do. My wife wouldn't let me go out. She was like, "You can't go to the gym. You can't go do anything else." So I was like, I can at least go play golf. I mean, you're outside. You're kind of protected from people for the most part. So that's when I really started to pick up the game more and really started to fall more in love with it.
So what sports were you gravitating to before, you know, because you said you were 16, 17. So before that, what kind of sports, if any, did you gravitate to?
Yeah, I mean, with my dad playing a lot of different sports, football and baseball were kind of the 2 primary sports that I grew up playing. And I think with most African Americans, those are kind of the sports that we're known to like gravitate towards in basketball, especially here in Prince George's County. But golf was just never one on the radar. I don't think it was because my parents didn't want us to play. It was just probably opportunities and access to the game. And that's something our organization is working hard to fix within Prince George's County. But yeah, just the football, basketball, played football in high school for a couple of years at Bowie High School. And then played baseball a little bit, like when I was a kid. Played a lot of slow pitch softball, like leisurely with church and things like that. But now I put all those other sports away and all I want to do is hit a golf ball.
Well, so what position did you play in baseball and softball?
Yeah, so in baseball, when I was in Little League, I was a pitcher. And again, my dad is kind of like my biggest influence. So he was a pitcher. And then in football, I played quarterback for 2 years. So more leadership roles. And I tried to run from leadership for a while, but I'm more in leadership spaces now, which is pretty cool and full circle. So
and I'm a big softball fan. Okay. My family has a softball team, and they've been playing ever since I was a little thing. Okay. And so I've played second base. Okay. No, but so you touched on a part of why you feel like you did not gravitate to golf was just the accessibility of it. And growing up here in the county, I grew up in North County, so Adelphi, Hydesville, those areas. But, like you said, until Tiger Woods got into golf, that was just not something that in my mind was really a sport for us. I would see it on TV and it looked really quiet and really boring and just, I don't know. It just didn't look like it was, because that's even with baseball too, like watching it on TV. I was like, this is so slow and boring. Like, my gosh. And so I want to get into that and into Excel Golf. How did you become a part of Excel Golf?
Yeah. So I came involved with the program because of my son. So once my son started to see that I was out of the house a lot more, he was like, Dad, where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm going to the golf course. He's like, I want to come with you. So I brought him along with me one time and bought him some golf clubs not too long after that. And once I saw him hit the ball for the first time, I was like, well, that's not normal. Because it takes a lot of hand-eye coordination and how to move your body. And he was able to pick it up rather quickly. So my dad, again, kind of being in the golf space and playing in tournaments and things like that, started to run into different people in the county who are doing more golf-related activities. So he introduced me to Sandy Milligan, who is the golf director for Excel Golf. And we met. He saw my son swing. He's like, oh, come to our clinic. So showed up. We paid to be a part of the clinic. And just being a dad on the side, watching my son and watching how the coaches were helping the kids learn how to play the game, I was like, man, I got to figure out a way to get involved because I'm not a parent who can just sit on the sidelines. Like, I have to help. Like, where can I help? Can I be an assistant? Like, is there anything I can do to kind of give back to what you're giving to me and my son? And from there, I provided a couple of ideas, updated their logo, social media presence, websites, kind of things that I knew I could do. Yeah. And they liked a lot of the ideas that I started to provide them with. And they were like, hey, do you want to kind of be the president of the organization? I was like, I don't know. I don't want the leadership titles, but I said yes. And ever since then, it's just been a rocket ship. It's been so much fun.
Wow. That's kind of funny though, and I find that there are so many organizations that do need help. And when you start engaging and you're the one that you're showing up and you're asking, how can I help and all of that, and then that's what leads to these types of roles, right? Exactly. I get a lot of questions like that. Like, people ask me, like, how do you find these things and how did you get involved in it? I showed up and the opportunity came because I showed up and nobody else was there. So
That's right. I told my son the same thing. It was he was playing in a golf tournament one day and he was the only kid in his age group. And he was like, oh, Dad, I kind of won by default. I was like, no, you didn't. You showed up. Other kids could have showed up too, but they didn't. But you showed up and you still went out there and played. So be happy that you even got an opportunity to play. And be happy that you still went out and competed and you won. So that's a testament to anything. I always tell people, opportunities are out there. If you show up, you never know what could happen. And a good friend of mine used to always say, questions are the answer. So if you ask a lot of questions, you're going to get the answers that you're looking for. So don't be afraid to ask questions because it can lead to opportunities that you never thought were even possible.
100%. You don't have to tell me twice to ask questions.
And so we came inside, and I thought we had an excellent practice. The guys are really locked in and trying to do everything right. So you appreciate that as a coach. It was fast and it was pretty sharp. So that's it for this phase. I kind of look at minicamp like the start of training camp. You know, it's the first mandatory type of deal. We'll pick this up then in a few weeks, and we'll start training camp when the rookies come back in. The rookies will have one more week here of conditioning, strength and conditioning, so they'll get that done, and we'll be moving on into the season. Guys will get away a little bit, take care of their job. They come back in the best shape of their life, take care of their family, their family's needs, and take care of their own needs, and be ready to go. What questions do you have?
John, the addition of Jair Alexander, what kind of impact do you think he can make for this team?
Well, just really excited about it. I had a chance to sit down with him today, which was an awesome time, and he's excited to be here. We're excited to have him. He had been kind of behind the scenes in the works a little bit, and I know he wanted to be here. We wanted him to be, so for it to work out the way it did, made Lamar happy, I think it made everybody happy. It's just an opportunity to become a better team in that sense today, so we're really excited about it.
Is it just a coincidence that after Lamar said he wanted him here, he was here within hours?
It was good timing. It was good timing.
Coach, you talked a bit over the last couple of sessions about kind of with the new kickers, seeing how they would approach the mental side, the scrutiny of it. Now that you're a few sessions in, you've talked to a few of them, seeing kind of how they fared. How have you kind of seen that now that uncertainty starts to come to fruition?
Right. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you try to put them in tough situations as much as we can. I mean, there's the idea of the repetition, and being able to replicate the swing. And Randy works out with those guys all the time. They're down there and just putting the numbers up, and those are all charted and graphed and everything else. And then you get into the situations, and the team situation's one thing. Then the game scenarios are the next thing. They have to run out and make it like a game. Then they're working on some other things. I mean, both those guys are working on some trajectory things that you don't really know about, but they're trying to change the trajectory of the ball a little bit from what they've done. So we get it where we want it to be. So it's a little more consistent in certain conditions, and we've been working on that. So all those things I think add up, and then the end result with all that going on has been really good. So good solid job, and again we'll pick it up in training camp.
Does your special teams background a little bit kind of help as you talk to them in those moments as rookies?
Yeah. I'm the guy that pats him on the shoulder and kicks him in the butt at the same time. So that's my job.
What do you think of with Tyler? I mean, you've dealt with a lot of kickers. With Tyler, I've heard of something about like his leg consistency and his swing. Have you noticed that in what you've seen from him this year?
Yeah, he's a really good athlete. So he's got body control, and he can make adjustments from a coaching point standpoint, and so can John. We're both doing a good job with that, and actually pick it up really quick. He's just kind of a natural athlete, so he's picking it up quick. Now it's just a matter of doing it over and over again. And he's done a good job.
John, you've added a lot of these, in camp, kind of the veterans that come in on the one-year deals. Some of them have taken pay cuts and perform well here. I guess how easy it is for you as a coach to have those guys who've had experience, guys like DeAndre, Odell, now Jair, that really just come in and assimilate themselves into the culture. What's the key similarity you've seen amongst the veterans that come in?
Well, all the guys who come in here have wanted to be here. That's the number one thing. I believe that guys understand kind of what we're about, the organization, the culture of the program, and they're the kind of guys that see themselves in that. That's how they see themselves, as a Raven, so to speak. And you see DeAndre and how he's been with it. He's been phenomenal. And you guys watching him practice, I would say expect the same thing from Jair. That's kind of the conversation that we had today. And if it's the right guy, if you like football and you love everything about football, you're gonna like it here and you're gonna be happy. If a guy doesn't really feel that way, it's probably best he's somewhere else. So these guys have all been those kind of guys.
Coach Ted's to see more Sanusi King on the defense with some of the injury issues you guys are having in the secondary. What have you seen from him coming and going into year 2, I should say?
I think he's had a really good offseason. The OTAs have been really good. He's gotten better every day, and the last 3 practices have been very good. So you watch him out here, I think you see it, and he's looked really good.
Coach Tez Walker, he looks like he's been making some strides just observing OTAs and minicamp. What have you seen from him?
Well, I saw a catch on the sideline that was spectacular. That was pretty awesome. He's every day, all he does is show up and go 100 miles an hour. We did get him to talk today because it's his birthday tomorrow, so we have birthday wisdom, birthday wise words. And so he gave us a wise word, made him stand up to do it. So he loved that, yeah, he's got a chance to be really good.
Improve, or were you trying to specify?
We said the right word is improvement. We're always trying to find things that we can get better at. Interestingly enough, on the field we were talking about what he was watching during the offseason. The first thing he said was the games that we lost. He's like, I just want to know how we lost them and what we did, what we could do better. So he's already thinking that way. As a staff, we're trying to look at things that we can improve and implement them during this time of the year, training camp, so on and so forth. But him individually, we had great discussions about the things that he wants to improve at and play as good, if not better, than he did last season.
Do you think it's more pre-snap or post-snap for him?
A little bit of both. It just kind of depends on the play, the call, protection. There's a lot involved in what we do. He has a lot of responsibility in the run game, in the passing game, whether it's getting us to the right run play, getting out of run, the pass to run, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of responsibility goes on there, and there's a lot of preparation that goes on there. So, but we expanded that package. Each year, we're looking for ways to give him more because he's advancing each and every year in all areas of his game. And we grew some this year. We added some new concepts, new play calls and things of that nature. And we're going to just give him all the reps that we can to get ready for the season.
See, a lot of great quarterbacks didn't have or had their best seasons in their 30s. Lamar is still not even being there. Does that even make you more feeling like, hey, his best football, as good as he's been, could still be in front?
Well, yes, it's a cause for optimism, definitely, being that he's such a young player playing the way that he's playing with so much more to get better at. He's doing a lot of great stuff, but we really kind of comb with a fine tooth the things that we really want to improve on, whether it's footwork, whether it's reads, his eyes, discipline, taking care of the football, things like that. So, but yes, at his age, playing the way he's playing is a really good feeling for optimism for the organization and for his career.
I feel like so often Lamar has come into a year with something new, whether it be the way he built himself to bigger, thinner. So if you see anything new this year from what you saw from him in January?
I think it's more mindset, like during the offseason, really starting with the last game. It was kind of a deep felt loss. The last two seasons have kind of ended that way with some really emotional losses. And so this offseason, the mindset for him and our conversations that we've had, what he's thinking and what he's verbalizing and talking about is a little different. You see maturity there in terms of what he sees on the field and things that he wants to do offensively. He's having more input back to us as coaches. Like, I see this, I would like to do this more or less. He's doing more of that and just taking his communication to the next level. So that's what I would say about that.
You mentioned saying that Lamar told him that he wants to have more meetings with team and personal. Has he shared any of those ideas with you?
Yeah, it really started last year. They were getting together, watching 7-on-7 and a lot of the passing periods together, especially during training camp. Once we got to the season, a little bit here and there, if there was something different. But some of the wideouts would come to the quarterback meetings and kind of hang out with us and listen to him. So whatever was most convenient for Lamar, they kind of worked it out. But there's something that they're being more intentional about doing, especially when we get back during training camp. But it really started last season during camp. They would get together and watch some of the passing periods. And once we got to the season, they got together during the quarterback meetings at times. Some of the other receivers stopping in, tight ends would stop in. Zay Likely, Mark, and those guys would stop in at times. To just kind of have that communication with Lamar when it wasn't the unit meeting where they can get more individualized attention from him. So it worked. Those guys got on the same page as the season went, and we saw the production as the season went on.
So you mentioned, him watching the games they lost, and you brought up obviously the Buffalo game. There's been similarities with, Lamar's post-regular season play has been at a very high level. Postseason he's had his struggles at times. What has been the conversation about how to be better in those games?
Well, just finishing for the most part. We really think about things like, turnovers and things of that nature, kind of the obvious stuff, right? That he's hard on himself about. The first half of the Buffalo game, just don't do that. We still ended up fighting ourselves back to really giving ourselves a chance to tie the game up. So you go back to 23, similar stuff, right? Red zone turnovers, not only just him, but other players, right? So that's stuff as a unit that we talk about, that we emphasize a lot. And individually as players, nobody wants to do that, right? Nobody wants to do the play or the turnover or the missed catch or missed throw that causes us a game or a drive or a series, so on and so forth. So, but it's an emphasis. We look at everything that contributes to those things. And so, yeah, it's on his heart, it's on his mind. We just got to find a way to finish.
So Coach Bobby Johnson, all right, offensive line coach, for those who may not know, for the Washington Commanders. So first, how are you?
I am great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Got a couple of questions for you. Last year was the first year for you all being together here, and most of the staff has stayed together. So can you share a bit from your perspective about the culture of this organization?
Well, I mean, DQ and AP have built a really special environment here. The culture here is unbelievable. This is probably the first staff I've been on in 15 seasons in the NFL that you really didn't have a staff change. And I think it speaks to that culture where guys realize, obviously, winning has a lot to do with it and having good players. But I think just the work environment amongst the staff, but also coaches to players, players to coaches, players to players, all that. It's a place where you enjoy coming to work and working hard together because it's a hard job to do. And the fact that you enjoy coming in and doing that hard work with a group of guys, I think that makes it even more special. I think having not had any staff turnover, the continuity, where we're at, going into year 2, being able to speak the same language and everybody knowing, the language, the culture, the standards, the expectations, the system, all those things combined, I think it makes it a lot smoother for us to kind of progress because we're all on the same page, from day one.
And so last year we heard a bit about the collaborative approach that you all have. So can you give an example of what that collaborative approach looks like from your position and your role?
I think when we go into just talking about how we want to set up the off season, I think the fact that we can kind of bounce ideas off of one another, and you got a bunch of different perspectives. We all came from different places. I don't think there was anybody on offense that could really work together prior to getting here. So we all have different experiences. So you find out the way you've always done it might not be the best way for here. And I think the collaborative effort kind of helps in that process of where we come up with an idea, and guys can have a bunch of different specialties. They think, well, we did it like this, someplace else I was at. And you get a collection, and you kind of find okay, well, the personnel I had at this place was different than what we have here, but the people that so and so had at a different place more fits us. So hey, let's try that way, and you kind of have the answers to the test. Somebody may have tried it a different way and go, well, here's what we found why it didn't work for us, and here's how we adjusted it. So I think that collaborative effort kind of helps us exhaust all the possibilities, find the best way for us here, and you kind of get to the solution without having to go through some of the growing pains. Like I said, you kind of get the answers to the test, which is always very beneficial.
And one more from me. So what do you want to see more of out of your position group this season?
I think anytime you go from year 1 to year 2 or from year to year, you want to see growth in a lot of different forms for my group. Communication is a big thing for us. So you'll hear sometimes if you're a pressure, you hear our guys like, all right, boys, good comms today. They just want to be able to communicate. We're a year together, so some of the things that maybe we had to work through communication-wise should be kind of, I don't know the best way to say it, should be kind of automatic with us. I want to see guys understand the system and taking the next step of, hey, how do we problem solve? Instead of having a problem come up and then us having to adjust it after practice in the meeting room, being able to problem solve in practice. Hey, they see a look and be able to communicate and solve the problem before the ball is. Those are the things that I want to see us move forward. And I see us doing it now just because guys are a year in and they kind of know where the bones are buried, so to speak.
Thank you.
No problem.
Line coach Daryl Tapp. How are you today?
Doing good.
Very good. So, look, a lot of conversation around Deron Payne and what he is bringing already to the voluntary OTA session. So, can you share a bit about what you've seen from him from last year to this year, the growth in Deron?
Deron's an alpha male, alpha of alphas. Just his mindset to come to work. Now, he had the same thing last year. The way he was really coming in, focused and ready to go. But him having the opportunity to be around myself, around Kerrigan, around Sharif Floyd for a second consecutive year and understand what it is that we want to do, he's been taking that thing and running with it. To the point to where he's correcting God before I even get a chance to say something to him, because he knows what the vision is. He was able to see us have success last year. It's not just trying to paint a picture for him. He was able to see it come to life. And he sees how he fits within the defensive scheme. What we're asking for him to do, and like I say, he's just completely taken over. His mindset each and every day, it's not about contract, it's not about anything like that. It's about him getting better each and every day, 1%.
Now, he did mention you yesterday in his
did?
presser. He did. He
That's
said
my guy right
he
there.
said that you challenged him to be a leader. So, can you talk a little bit about that conversation?
Well, he was always a leader, but Deron leads by example. I was challenging him to be a little bit more vocal. As you young ladies know, this is a player's game. I played it, but I'm no longer a player. So at a certain point, the players have to take this thing over and control it and demand it. When things need to be said, it can't be me all the time. I'm going to do my part, but they're the ones out there putting their hand in the dirt. They're the ones taking on the blocks. Like, they have to take it over. And they have to take the coaching points and philosophies and techniques and all the things that we're giving them and make that stuff come to life on the field. So that's what he's really been taking a hold of. Dorrance Armstrong, another guy was here last year and sees the vision and sees how it comes together. He's been leading in the classroom. Cleveland Farrell, now the two puppies we had last year, and Jerzon Newton and Devontae Jean-Baptiste, they know what it is. So they've been helping Dietrich. They've been helping Jacob Martin come together. And then with Kinlaw, we already have a relationship from San Fran. So being able to spoon feed him what the defense is and for his natural ability to take over, it's just been a really cool room to be a part of for these last 5 weeks of off season. And I'm excited to see what we can really do when the bullets really start flying.
I'm standing here with Coach Brian Johnson. Brian, can you share your title? Is he Assistant Offensive Coordinator?
Yeah, Assistant Head Coach.
Assistant Head Coach.
Coordinator.
Tell us a little bit about your role as it relates to in the game or just preparation for the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very unique role in terms of wearing a bunch of different hats and just generally being a helping hand wherever I can. Obviously my expertise and what I've done the majority of my career has been pretty quarterback driven, but in terms of my role, I've been able to be around every position group and be around Q a lot, and he's been very, very intentional in terms of specific tasks that he'd like me to get accomplished, and it's been fun. It's really been a unique role in terms of being able to have kind of a big picture view of what we're doing offensively.
So you just mentioned that you've been able to be around every position group, and sometimes at practice I witness that, and I'm like, not so much of what do you do, right? Because you just explained it, and I've kind of done some back research as well. But so when you are, say, engaging with the defensive side of the ball, what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, I think that part has probably been the most beneficial in terms of being able to throw different ideas and just provide a different set of eyes. I mean, I think when you talk about intermixing the offense and the defense of seeing things from a different lens, if you have this disguise, we may attack you like this, and just being able, like I said, just to provide a helping hand. We have a great defensive staff, but I've really enjoyed being able to talk ball with those guys and compete with them on the practice field.
So there's a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk about this coaching staff coming together last year, but then just the rare kind of happening that you all basically stayed together. So can you talk about a little bit more about the why you all decided to stay together for year 2?
Yeah, I think the biggest deal is the people. I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is a people profession, and we have great people here, and I think everybody realizes that, and everybody is aware of that. You know, and it's great to come in the building every single day. Everybody's super fired up to be here. The energy is fantastic, and it's really good football coaches and really good players. So it's been a place where everybody enjoys being here, and you know, I think it's just a testament to the culture that DQ and AP have built here, and you know, I don't see that changing.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Here with quarterbacks coach Tavita Pritchett. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay.
Yes, I'm doing
yeah, we had some good kind of laughs before we got started. Yes. So let's just get right to it. Jayden Daniels is like a hot topic. There's never a day I go into my social media feed and do not see a Jayden Daniels post. Yes. So what has it been like coaching and a talent like Jayden?
Jayden's a joy to work with. He really is. You know, and the way he comes to work every day, the competitor he is, the connector he is. You know, it's been a lot of fun to be around and see him lead. You know, see him really kind of put his stamp on this franchise in just a year. You know, and so it's been fun, both kind of in the macro, you know, but also just being in our quarterback room, you know, and getting to kind of you know, hear his thoughts, hear how he thinks about the game, as well as with the rest of the guys. You know, Marcus Mariota, Sam Hartman, Josh Johnson. Just hearing those guys interact, hearing kind of how we get down in there, you know, has been a lot of fun as well.
And so maybe you already saw my script, because I was going to ask you about the quarterback's room and see how we're vibing, you know. See how you all get down. I mean, oftentimes you don't see 4 quarterbacks, right? And everybody was 4 last year, right? It's still 4 right now. So talk a little bit about that, about the importance of having that continuity across the quarterback's room.
Yeah, I think continuity is important in general. You know, but specifically when you talk about, you know, an offensive system and a quarterback existing in that, just to know what to expect, right? Just to know, hey, here's how we attack people, here's the structure, here's how we call plays, here's the snap count, here's the progressions. You know, I mean, I think being able to walk into that in year 2 for Jayden goes a long way. You know, and I was just talking about this with somebody else, but even just the foundation of the trust that we have, the relationship that we've built, you know, not just Jayden and I, but with Marcus, with Sam, with David Blau, with Brian, with Cliff. You know, there's just so much synergy that can take place more immediately when you have that foundation of trust. You know, and so I think being where we are now, it's been fun to kind of start at this place, you know, once everyone got back, because we did have that strong foundation built.
So last season we heard a bit about this staff and your collaborative approach. So from your role as the quarterback's coach, what does that collaborative approach look like? Just an example.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think one example is, and you know, it's part of Cliff's philosophy, and I know it comes from Coach Mike Leach, and just like how interactive he is with the players, and therefore us, on just like, hey, how do you guys think about this footwork? Maybe to drop on a certain player, to throw a certain route. And so he's very open to, you know, different ideas from different people with different backgrounds in different offenses. And so I think when you approach it that way, you know, I love the quote, like, all of us are smarter than one of us, right? It's like you could have one person that's extremely knowledgeable in one thing, or extremely knowledgeable in general in football, but like he's not smarter than his knowledge plus his, you know. So I think that idea really persists throughout our staff. And obviously the tone is set by DQ and then Cliff, you know, to be able to say and have that lack of an ego to say, hey man, like, I want your ideas, I want to hear your thoughts.
And so this season then, right, I mean, you have 3 of your 4 quarterbacks are going into year 2. You have one, you know, Josh Johnson, who's come in. But what do you want to see more of from the quarterback room? From the group?
What do I want to see more of? You know, I think the really interesting thing about the dynamic about the quarterback position is, as we know, there's one out there, right? And so there's you really have to develop the ability to compete in an atmosphere where it's not like other spots where it's like, hey, there's going to be 4 D linemen out there, so we're all competing for plays. It's like, well, there's one quarterback out there. You know, so my short answer is I want to see our guys continue to compete, you know, so that we can just keep getting better every single day. And really that's what it becomes at the quarterback position. It's like, hey, what do I need to work on? What's the thing that I need to go out there and prove today in practice or in this stretch of OTAs so that I can get that 1% better? You know, so it's staying competitive at a position where it's a little bit different in how you have to think about it, you know, and I appreciate our room and their approach. But that's what I would say is just continue to do that.
And so with that, that was going to be my last one, but I thought about something else.
Yeah.
Last season, and I'm sure you were on the sideline, so you know way more than I do. We're sitting upstairs, and y'all are down there. The last regular season game, the Dallas game, and Marcus comes in.
Yep.
And I asked Jaden about this in the press conference because it seemed like he was the biggest Commanders fan in AT&T Stadium. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at Jaden. So when you see that relationship and how it grows, of course, everyone, you know, it went viral about, you know, the Atlanta Falcons game, all of that. For you as a coach, how does that make you feel? Because there's always conversations about someone coming to take someone's job or competition within the room in a negative way. So how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I think the other quote that makes me think of is like being competitive and not combative. You know, like that being a value, because like we're all extremely competitive. I mean, everyone in that quarterback room, to the point where, you know, whether it's cards or darts or throwing it into the net or into the bucket, like we're going to compete. But that doesn't also have to mean that we're butting heads with each other. You know, that process can be going back. It can be a collaborative one. It can be one where like we know why we're competing. We're competing to make each other better. You know, and so I think what you're seeing there is the fruits of a lot of hard work and intentionality to build those real relationships and those real connections. Because when they do see each other out there, when Jaden sees Marcus out there, or Marcus does walk up to Jaden, like it makes me feel good as a coach. That's something that we've built, you know, that we've helped build and cultivate that trust, that relationship that those guys can pour into each other that way when the other one's on the field. And there's an immense amount of trust that takes place in those moments.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Legacy on Fire here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, airing on the amazing Bowie Television. Look, everybody, episode 78. We got a lot to get into today. We want to talk a couple NBA issues. We'll talk a little MLB, but also going to start to get into our NFL previews. And today we're previewing the AFC East and the NFC East, two very highly contested divisions. And we can't wait to see kind of what the experts have to say about what they have going on in those divisions today. Well, let me go ahead and introduce you to the panel. To my left is the co-founder of the Legacy Maker Sports Network, co-host of the J&J podcast, and guys, it's pretty cool. Mr. Jay Quimby, how you doing today, sir?
Doing well. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm here. You know, that's the first shot. That's the first step. Below him, longtime member of the Legacy Maker Sports Network, team member of Comcast Sports Talk. I can go on and on and on. Mr. Lamont Thomas, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back with the guys. What's up?
Hey, good to have you, man. And of course, last but not
least, so much.
And then, of course, the host of the Sit Down with Joey Raymond, Mr. Joey Raymond. How you doing today, Joey?
Dude, I'm doing good. Today's been a little chaotic, you know, but it's been a good day. We're here.
That's the first step. We just got to be here. So with that getting started, let's go ahead and start off with one sentence. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first one sentence is a fun one. College football 26 is here. So I just kind of want to get you guys' thoughts. If you've played the game, great. If you haven't, are you going to play the game? And then on top of that, just kind of want to know who you're going to play with when you get the game or if you get the game. Let's go ahead and get this one started here. Very excited to see how this one goes. Lamont, I'm going to start with you first, brother. Your one sentence on college football 26 and, you know, who you're going to play with, all that fun stuff.
My one sentence has got to be, let's build a dynasty. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Listen, in 25, man, I had a good time. I I like trying to take over as a coach, man, and building the program. It's so fun to me. And last year I found my way taking over Florida State and, trying to get them back to the old days. So I was like, let's do it. Reminded me of when we went to the ACC Media Day, all that good stuff. It was a good time. So I'm ready. I'm ready for it. And yeah, I don't know who I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna try to build a dynasty, man. That's what it's about.
Start off with the dynasty. Joey, I'm gonna go with you next, man. We kind of had a preliminary on this. I kind of know where you are already, but kind of go ahead and give us your insight on this college football 26. I know it's here, and who you decided to go with and all that fun.
Yeah, no, I got the deluxe edition, so I've been playing since Monday. I've already started a dynasty. I started my road to glory yesterday, and so I decided to rep the alma mater because I put my high school up in team builder and put that on road to glory because you can do that this year. And I've had a lot of fun. I ended up building an entire conference. I made 14 teams on team builder and did that too. So it's been a little chaotic, but my Virginia Tech dynasty, we just won a natty literally like 10 minutes before the show started. So look, dude, you got to do what you got to do.
Oh boy, well, go Hokies, I guess. I don't know. I can't do that out loud. Jay,
Did that hurt?
Yeah, it did hurt.
You should have got that soundbite for sure.
Now, hey, I'm an advocate, man. I'm ready for you to get this new game system, brother. Come on, man. Tell me this is the year that you get 26 so you can take the Buckeyes to championship glory.
I know, because I'm still playing on my regular Xbox. I love it. I'm going to stick with it until it gives out. So,
man, what you going to do when it gives out, man? You got to step up there. You got to get your new system.
Then I guess that's when I got to step up. But until that point, it's chug-a-logging along, and I'm still playing at 11.
That's hilarious. But look, one day, man, because I can't see you not taking Ohio State to a championship. I know the man below you ain't gonna like that, but at least once, right?
I don't got to do it on a game. We did it in real life, so.
Hey, look, okay. I congratulated him too because I know how hard it is to get it.
Oh, that's great. So I haven't played yet. I probably will play at least once tonight. I don't know. I think I might start off with the road to glory and see how it goes. That's what I did last year. I did road to glory, and then after I did that one, it was just me and the dynasty for the rest of it. I made UVA the only time they'll ever be national champions is when I played with them last. So at some point we got to rebuild things in Charlottesville and get Sky Stadium rocking. Maybe get that crowd, crowd noise up to a trillion or whatever. We got to get that rolling. But I'm not gonna lie to you, as a Wahoo fan, it's gonna hurt to even say this, but I am kind of low-key excited to see what it's like when you go into Blacksburg and then you hear them hit with the Sandman. I was like, when I heard it was on the game, I'm like, yeah, I gotta at least hear that.
It's really cool.
It is. I'm not, and that's coming from So I am excited to kind of see that, but hopefully be the process. That's the only way it's gonna happen. Is when I can do it on the video game.
But from what I've read, Joey, maybe you can put something behind this. Is the transfer portal is brutal.
It is tough. I ended up actually having to go in. Thank God they allowed the ability to turn it down.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, and you can actually limit how many players can transfer if you so chose to. But yeah, like my first year out of VT, like legitimately everybody was gone. Like I didn't keep like daggum near anybody. I mean, if they could transfer, they did. It was rough.
It's funny. I saw somebody online was like, man, I made it. He said, I won a bowl game. We 9-3, felt pretty good about it, and half of the team transferred. He said half of them left. I'm like, half of the team? Oh, I said, that's gonna be chaotic. They're gonna have somebody throwing stuff through the television screen and stuff. That's not a good deal.
But hey, anymore, if you think about it, it's realistic. I mean,
it's true. That's true. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, let's head to our next one on one sentence and talk a little bit about Mr. Tyler Halliburton. Now, I want you guys to give one sentence on this situation. Obviously, the finals have been over for a couple of weeks, but we did find out the day before yesterday that Halliburton is done for the 2025-2026 season. And that's got to be an extremely tough blow to the Indiana Pacers, especially after, the things they did to, to be able to even get to this point and come this close to winning their first NBA championship. Jay, I'll start with you first. One sentence. Do you think Tyler Halliburton should have ever even played Game 7? Should have just rested him and let it go? I know it's easy to look at it in hindsight, but what would have done?
Well, let's be honest. He's competitive. He would have played. Let him play because he's the reason that they made it as far as they did. Without him, they wouldn't even made it to the finals or to a Game 7. I mean, I really think he was the difference in the fact of why, the Thunder are the champs and it's not the Pacers.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. Seeing them go down early. For those who do parlays out there, it did not go with some very upset people when they had them going on the over, but I ain't saying no names. Lamont, I head to you next. Lamont. What are your thoughts on Tyler Halliburton? Should he ever played? I mean, now that he's here that we know for a whole year, we won't see him till the 2026-2027 season. Do you think they should have sat him, or do you think, hey, he should have been out there trying to win his team that championship?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the goal of playing this game is to win titles, right? And I think that, Tyrese Halliburton is he is the Pacers. I mean, him and Siakam single-handedly carried them there, like Jay said. And I don't think he should have sat, because the question is for him is it. Well, I think it has to be his choice, right? If he doesn't think he should sit, then he shouldn't sit, right? Because he's going to do everything he can to help this team. And like Jay said, I mean, who knows what could have happened? He hit 3 or 4 threes, right, at the beginning of that game, and they were shooting poorly. Had that carried them over to the win, right, I don't think we'd be having the same conversation, right? If the tides are turning and they win the championship. So no, I say no.
Yeah, I can feel you on that. I mean, it was a very, very tough decision. Joey, ahead to you, brother. What would you have done in this situation? If you're Indiana, are you sitting your star out there? You're like, no, we gotta, we got enough to surround us. We got an NBA champion and Siakam, who knows how to get there. Do you lay put all your eggs in this basket? What would you do?
Hey, I don't change a daggum thing. I let him play, because at the end of the day, like, dude, legacies are built on nights like that. And if you want to go out there and win, you're going to ride the hot hand. You're going to ride the guy who's, gotten you that far. And at the end of the day, yeah, it sucks that, we're not going to see him for, another season. But that's the risk you take, right? If you want a ring, if you want a championship, you do anything and everything in your power to get that dub. And that includes playing injured. Like, I know that's not a very popular thing nowadays, but at the end of the day, that's what champions are made of. You go out there, regardless of whether you're hurt or not, and you try to get your team the dub. And if you don't, at least you can say that you laid it all out there on the line. Like, at the end of the day, if Halliburton never makes it back to a championship, he can at least rest on his laurels knowing, hey, I went out there and I gave it my all. And at the end of the day, that's really all that you can say. And so, no, I would have let him play. I mean, yeah, I do agree that, it should have probably been his decision. And I mean, Lord knows he would have said, I'm going to play anyways. But I mean, yeah, like when it comes down to, Game 7 of the finals, I don't care what sport you play, you're going out there.
You got a fist fight in there. I think, there could be a lot of second thoughts on it and how you feel on it, but I can't be mad at the man going out the shot. You hate to see it happen. You hate to see him go down that way, but like you said, Joy, you can go back and say, I gave it everything I had. You gave it everything you had, and unfortunately, the Thunder took advantage of it. For Indiana fans out there, and they are the NBA champions. Last one on one sentence. Let's talk about some baseball. Let's talk about this AL MVP race that's cooking between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. And right now, I just kind of want to know you guys one sentence on this. Plus,